And now some news of our own. Turkish authorities have confiscated footage from a DW interview with the Turkish Minister for Youth and Sports. Producers of the DW programme Conflict Zone met with the minister in Ankara to conduct the interview. That was last night. And immediately afterwards, Turkish authorities ordered our host, Michel Friedman, and his team to hand over that footage. The DW team told it would not be allowed to leave the ministry until it complied. DW has called for the immediate release of this material and is also considering legal action. And DW's Director General Peter Limborg has called this incident a flagrant violation of press freedom in Turkey. He described it as an act of coercion that had nothing to do with the upholding of democracy or the rule of law. We're going to talk to the host of that programme now, Michel Friedman, the host of Conflict Zone, who's just back from Turkey. He's in Frankfurt and joins us now. Mr. Friedman, thanks for talking to us. And perhaps you can just tell us more about what exactly happened last night. What was the atmosphere that the interview was being conducted in?
Before the interview, the atmosphere was very good. During the interview, the atmosphere was changing. I think the minister didn't like a part of the questions, a part of the issues we were talking about. He was expecting something else than that what happened. But to be honest, we are not journalists to ask questions what the politicians like to hear and to answer. We have to ask questions we believe are important for our viewers and for the information network we have to provide. And the atmosphere changed dramatically. After the interview, I was asked to talk again with the minister because the press officer told me that the minister is not amused and he doesn't want that the interview will be broadcasted. I said immediately, this is not the case. We discussed before with the press officer more or less about what we are talking. The minister is a member of the government, and certainly we will broadcast the interview. So after a certain time, when the press officer saw that we will not make any compromise, he turned to our production team and asked our local production team for the material, and the material was confiscated, and we didn't have any more of the material. I came back now to Germany, and that's what we have to talk about. This is an unbelievable scandal. There are no negotiations about authorizations after interviews. The minister is a part of the government. I think he didn't like the questions about the rule of women in Turkey, which is a very important issue because Turkey is discussing about a modern, emancipated rule of women or a traditional. And President Erdogan was saying some remarks which are quite important, more or less that he wishes that the Turkish woman is more on the traditional basic, and the minister didn't want to talk about that, and this is perhaps one of the reasons why he stopped the interview after that.
Okay, and what, during the interview, when you were asking these questions about women's rights, I mean, how did he react? And were there other areas where his reaction was negative?
He didn't want to give any answer on that. We gave him enough time. He said, Mr. Erdogan is the president. He is only a member of the government. It's not the point he has to answer. I said, you are the minister of youth. That means the future. You are a minister in the government. Give me your approach. He didn't want. He was also not very amused about questions of death penalty, which is discussed, and the conflict with the European Union. He was also not amused about the question, and we had to talk also before the 15th of July, of democratic rules, of the freedom of press. I think that he wanted to talk about the situation, and he had the time to talk about the situation after the coup, but this was one of our questions, one of our issues, not the only one. And I believe that he wanted to talk only about that.
OK, DW's Michel Friedman, presenter of Conflict Zone. Many thanks for that.